All right, here we are with, I think it's episode 23, but more importantly, the season finale of Coffee with Parishioners. And I'm here with Dan and Cynthia Tracey. How are you?
Fine, Father.
Good, good. So I just want to explain to you guys and to others what's sort of meant by the season finale concept. Because I think it's interesting that with the pandemic and the need to suddenly start doing a lot more things online and make more things available online, that our YouTube channel has become like an actual TV channel, and that we have things that air most days, you know, and has a schedule and things like that. And so that's been kind of fun. And so meanwhile, this Coffee with Parishioners has been a blessing for me, and others have shared that it's been a blessing for them. And so I don't want to give up on it or stop, but when we're at a point, which I'm personally at a point of sort of needing to take a step back from the weekly commitment of having a weekly episode, that we might just end season one. This has been on my mind for a while, that we might just end season one and plan to have a season two debut sometime this year. So I might even, in the coming weeks, I might even be still reaching out to some of you who are watching this about scheduling a time to be on, and we might even meet on Zoom to record it in those coming weeks, but it might air later when I have more episodes recorded. So that's the plan. So here we are for the season finale. So thank you for being my season finale guest, Dan and Cynthia. How are you?
Thanks for asking us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first questions first. Do you have your mugs and your drinks?
We do.
We do.
Good. Are you coffee drinkers or tea, or what do you got?
I no longer drink caffeine, so I have an Arnold Palmer, which is tea and lemonade.
Yeah.
And I had them for some time, and they're in my favorite golf ball mug.
Oh, so you're a golfer, huh?
Yes, Father. Not a good golfer.
You what?
I said not a good golfer, just a golfer.
Oh, well, that's part of the joy of golf. It wouldn't be golf without the frustration, right? Right?
That's correct.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay, and I have iced coffee.
Oh,
In the
nice.
summer, I like iced coffee. And I have in my my current favorite mug. Last Christmas, our neighbor Lisa Orteza invited us to her wedding shower.
Yeah.
And our table gift, I guess, when we went. And so it says it's the most wonderful time of the year, which I do love. Christmas Eve and waiting for baby Jesus and Christmas morning.
Yeah.
But it's also a time when I hope I can enjoy those days, because it's sometimes very stressful as well. So, but it also has my Christmas cardinal on it, which I believe is a special connection to God for prayer and, well, part of my prayer at Christmas, I guess.
Yeah. Good. Now, Cynthia, if you lean back a little bit, you're a part of, there we go. Part of your face was cut off again. I know it's, you guys are troopers doing this using the phone. Sometimes it's a little challenging. So I'll share my mug. So this is specifically picked out for the season finale. I'm like, this is a great way to start. So this, just looks like a coat of arms, because it is. It's Fulton Sheen's coat of arms, and it has a quote from Fulton Sheen on the back. And disclaimer: this is not my mug. I mentioned earlier in the season that there are some mugs that sort of belong to the parish, belong to the office, I guess you could say, that not only get used in the office and sort of pass around, but kind of get fought over because we all like it. There are at least a few of us really like using this mug, and this is one of them. And the quote on the back is, "The average American is physically, biologically, psychologically, and neurologically unable to do anything worthwhile before he has a cup of coffee. And that goes for prayer too, quote Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen. So there you go. So this is, I definitely identify with that quote, and it's quotes like that that make me love the practical wisdom that Fulton Sheen had, right? That he understood what it was to live life and wasn't afraid to even have a sense of humor about communicating things like how we need coffee even to pray sometimes, right? So, all right, so there's my story. So tell me a little bit about what is the last few months have been like for you. I know it's been crazy for all of us, but I know you guys have had a pretty particular task keeping you busy. So
that's correct. Well, we're anticipating downsizing very soon. And so for the past few months, Father, we've been involved in getting the house ready, especially since we're blessed. Our daughter and son-in-law are buying our house and bringing our grandchildren here. And we really feel that that's really good and important. So we've been busy.
Awesome. Yeah. So
it's been, we've, well, I guess we've been trying to figure out that we have too many earthly possessions. And then one week every day I think you preached about that, and I thought, oh, fine.
And we really isn't the necessary pronoun. It probably should be I in terms of Cynthia. My earthly possessions don't stay around that long, Father.
Are they food? Is that why? That's sometimes the case with me.
Yeah.
It's quite a project, and
I bet, yeah.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
The deadlines are quickly approaching, so.
Which means stressful.
Yeah. So would you say that you guys are in the situation where suddenly kind of being told to spend more time indoors was kind of advantageous for you because you had a lot of work to do around the house?
That's correct. That's correct. So we've been really busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then spring came and I did what gardening I could, but
yeah,
it hasn't been a great gardening year for me.
Sure, that's okay. That's okay. And I remember vividly. I think it was the last. Was it at Stations of the Cross that you talked to me about the trip that you had just made? And I had made the announcement about Mass being canceled, and I had that on my mind. But you were really excited about this trip.
I was. We spent the last week of February and the first week of March in St. Augustine. And it was just a beautiful place. It may be the most spiritual place we've ever visited for an extended time because, well, we were right next to the beach, which was beautiful. And it was different there because every morning I get up and watch the sunrise. And usually I'm the only one on the beach, but when I was there, every morning there were people on the beach, whole families, and the people that were next door to us, they were some kind of workers that were up early and they had their work t-shirts on, and they were out on the beach waiting for the sun. And it was just so beautiful. It really felt like a spiritual moment every and so that was really neat. And then we got to go to Mass at the cathedral. It's the first, I think the first parish in the U.S.
Yeah.
It was so simple, but so beautiful. And
And we visited the Basilica too. Remember?
Yeah, where we
Yes.
had mass.
Yeah.
Oh, and then one day we did go to the shrine, Our Lady of La Leche, and that was beautiful. I think that was where the settlers actually came to Florida, and they said the first mass there. The place they said the first mass it's a dig now, because
Archaeological dig.
well, because I think that some of the Americans at the time thought that they needed those treasures, and there was a big dispute, and they must have torn the church down. But right next to it was the actual shrine, and
that was beautiful.
Just like a little mission church, but all the stations were outside, and it was also a graveyard for the first sisters and the priests that were there. So so their graves were probably 200, 300 years old and kind of worn. It was just a beautiful place. And then where you come in, they've built a whole new church that is gold and beautiful, and that's where they every day have mass. And we happened to be there at 3:00 when they were doing the chaplet, and there's a priest there. I think he might have been a Franciscan, I'm not sure, but anyway, he came in and we said the chaplet. So that was very neat.
Awesome.
So it was just a beautiful place.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, and that's great that you had the chance to go there right before kind of everything started to go nuts, you know? So.
Well, then we stopped in Nashville on our way home, and that night we went to Mass in the Basilica of the Incarnation, and we were concerned that they had just been through a tornado the weekend before, and so the priest apologized if anyone had been trying to call. They had no phones, I think they had power at the church, but anyway, and there were these yellow pamphlets in the pews about COVID.
Yes, the first saw it.
And so I read that, and the priest just said, okay, no communion by mouth. And we weren't really distanced, and we weren't wearing masks. We weren't that yet, but he talked about it. And that was the last actual mass we got to go to.
March 7th.
And then that week, well, besides your daily masses, then Friday at the Stations of the Cross, I went to church thinking, oh, at least we still have mass, you know, because I knew the governor's message was coming. And then you said we weren't having mass anymore, and it was just
but
really.
this has been so good, because we to still come to mass every week because of what you've done, which has really, I mean, you've got to be tired, Father.
It's been a whole different ball game the past. It occurred to me has it been 6 months? Is that right about since it all? Getting there, yeah. So it's been crazy, and you know, I still remember very vividly that day at Stations of the Cross too, and yeah, because of our conversation, you had just gotten back from this trip, and I was interested to hear it, but you know, like I said, my mind was all over with that situation, and I still have the St. Augustine Holy Card that you got me. It's a bookmark in one of my books right now in the chapel, yeah, I just still remember. I can very much relate to what you said, even from my perspective, and I know that I don't take for granted that my perspective is different, because I never had to stop going to Mass because I have to have Mass every day. So, but that experience, I know a lot of people relate to what you just said about, the feeling of, well, at least we'll still have Mass. And then it was hard, it was tough. And I please God that we don't have to go through it again. But if we do, that I'm grateful that we kind of got through it enough that I think we'll be more prepared next time. Because I still remember, if there is a next time, please God, but we'll see. But because I still remember the feeling of like, I had just found out within the hour when I had to stand up there at Stations of the Cross and tell you all. And I still remember saying, watch our things online if you can, because I hope to put something up there, maybe a homily, maybe even Mass. And it was still, I was just like, I felt very much out of my element and thinking like, I don't even know what's possible, but we're going to see, and we're going to try, and we're going to see what's possible. And thanks be to God that it was possible. That the next day, it was a very interesting Saturday, because it was the first Saturday, I think I've told this story before, but where I basically, my Mass time, very dangerous for someone like me who can be very talkative and struggles to not be long-winded, but then B, when we've all got a lot on our minds, that the Mass time was whenever I finished the homily. Day and night to work on the homily, and then I go set up and get the camera set up and get everything set up in the chapel for Mass, and that's when we have Mass in the chapel, and I recorded it. And then it was even worse yet that I didn't know how to do the live stream yet, so it was just recorded, and then I had to take this hour-long recording and figure out how to put it online, and that was difficult for me to figure out, because I've had enough experiences with things like that I was able to work my way through it. But it took a long time, just all the loading times and stuff. So thanks be to God, then the next morning's Mass times were whenever I wanted them to be, because I needed to just sleep in as long as I needed to the next day. So anyway, so that was a crazy time. So, anyway, like I said, I'm glad that you had a chance to have that special trip right before. So.
But Father, you did so much to, I guess, help us through all of this, because you took us around the church with things that we never noticed. Things that we go to Mass and I don't know that we take the time to look at all the windows. And I mean, now I do.
Me too.
But you've just taken us with prayers and thoughts and insights into all of the special things of our church, and other things you brought in, and your thoughts from the ugly green chair, just when you wake up on a day and you think, oh, how do I get through this day?
Yeah.
I mean, even being, I don't really have a schedule. It took me 3 years to figure out how to be retired. And then COVID came and all my drugs are swept away.
And thank God I do have a schedule. That has helped me, because if I don't have something tangible in the way of a schedule, Father,
Yeah.
But all I guess all I say is everything you did and put on the on our emails, so that even we could access them, because we're not real technical. But we just thank you for all that, because you kept us connected. You kept us feeling like there was hope to get through all this, and we just felt like you and God were there with us.
Father, I think also, I think this is so, she's right, it's so important, because, we have the connection. We've been involved also over the past year in some of the after church meetings, and they have become so important to us. And when we were no longer able to do that, we still had, and really, we used to talk about how there were days where you just didn't have it. But then with this, it wasn't so long in between, so we could also be anchored. Are you there? Yeah, we went out. Cynthia's battery is low.
Okay. All right. Well, we don't want to push it with your battery, but thank you for saying all that. I'm grateful. God bless you. Thanks be to God that it was helpful. And like I said, we'll continue to do the best we can. But you mentioned things after church, and I know that you guys are in one of the groups that just was able to have your first meeting in person in several months. So
wonderful.
Yeah, and just in case anyone who's watching doesn't know, we have the St. Aloysius room is set up with socially distanced seating where you can still see one another and have conversation, but remain at that safe distance. And I'm grateful to have sat in on part of your discussion the other night. And so yeah, we will continue to keep doing the best we can with what we have at the moment. And thanks be to God in the midst of that. I think we've seen a lot of good things in the midst of a really crazy time. So
amen.
Yeah, so thank you both. This has been a great season finale conversation. So thank you for sharing about your mugs and for sharing this time and your experience. And any final thoughts?
I didn't know what to anticipate, Father, because believe it or not, even considering what I do, you would think this would be routine. But as you probably noticed, I'm not as talkative as my wife, which is a surprise to many people.
Looks like you've got a cameo appearance there. Somebody over here.
Oh, this is Charlie.
Charlie, okay. That's so
old Shih Tzu. I think that my father. She climbed up on the back and sat.
He's a cute dog. That's my dog. When I was a child, he used to do the same thing too. My dad used to call it the doggy collar, where he'd climb up on the back of the sofa right behind your neck.
Absolutely.
Cute. That's cute.
She's not spoiled at all, Father.
I'm sure. All right. Well, thanks to both of you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Father. Take care.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
You too.